All right, let's jump right in. We are living through, literally two of the biggest industrial shifts in human history: the green energy transition and, of course, the AI revolution. And you know what they both have in common? They demand a massive, and I mean colossal, overhaul of our planet's physical infrastructure. We're talking about rewiring the entire world. So it all starts with this one giant question that kind of frames this whole thing. This isn't just about sticking up a few wind turbines or building a couple of data centers. The real question we have to ask is, how do you actually power an entire continent reliably, not just for the next few years, but for the next 100 years? And the scale of this challenge is just mind-boggling. Think about it. We have to connect these gigantic offshore wind farms that are miles and miles out at sea. We need to upgrade electrical grids that are, in some cases, a century old and were never built for this kind of load. On top of that, countries all over the world are scrambling for energy independence, and then you have the AI boom, with data centers that are just insanely power-hungry. So what's the answer to this enormous puzzle? Well, it's not some glamorous new software or a flashy app. It's hardware, and it's gritty. We're talking about millions upon millions of miles of some of the most advanced, high-voltage cable ever made, buried deep under our streets and laid carefully on the ocean floor. And that brings us to this invisible giant, the company right at the heart of this global rewiring. It's a name most people have probably never heard, but they are absolutely essential to making our digital green future happen. And that company is Prysmian, the undisputed #1 cable producer in the world. Okay, so what is it they actually do? This chart gives you a really clear picture. Now, those super high-tech transmission projects, the big submarine cables, they get all the headlines. But look, that's only about 15% of their revenue. The real bedrock of the company, more than half their business, is what they call electrification. That's all the essential wiring inside buildings, factories, and yeah, data centers. It's a huge, stable business that gives them this incredible foundation. And get this, they're not some hot new startup just riding a wave. Prysmian was founded in Milan, Italy, way back in 1879. We're talking about more than 145 years of industrial grit. And they're still setting records, like just a couple of years ago when they finished Viking Link, the longest submarine power cable on the planet, connecting the UK and Denmark. This is an old-school powerhouse that somehow found itself at the absolute center of future tech. But here's the billion-dollar question, right? What makes them so powerful? Why can't some other company with deep pockets just wake up tomorrow and decide to compete with them? Well, this gets to the very core of their strength. Their advantage, their moat, is really built on 4 different layers. First, when it comes to the really complex deep-sea projects, they're basically in a monopoly with just 1 or 2 other players. Second, they're the leader in a market that's just exploding, headed toward 20 billion euros a year. Third, like we saw, that core business gives them a rock-solid financial base. And fourth, and honestly this is the most important one, are the massive physical barriers to entry. Let's really drill down on those physical barriers, because this is where the story gets kind of wild. This isn't about software patents or brand names. This is about pure steel, scale, and time. You can almost boil down their entire physical advantage to a single number: 8. By 2028, Prysmian is going to have a fleet of 8 of these incredibly specialized cable-laying ships. You can't just go out and buy these things. They're basically custom-built floating factories. And Prysmian will have the biggest fleet in the world. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Imagine you want to compete. You're starting with 0 ships, 0 experience. The analysis from the source material suggests it would take you 15, maybe 20 years and billions upon billions of dollars just to try and replicate the assets and the know-how Prysmian has right now. It is an almost impossible head start. And if you think the ships are impressive, just listen to this. In Finland, they operate the Prysmian Tower. It's the tallest building in the entire country, and it's not an office building. It's a giant vertical factory, built tall so the complex materials in the cables can cure perfectly under gravity. And it pumps out 1 kilometer of this super advanced cable every single day. Okay, so we get it. They have this incredible, almost unbreakable moat. But is it actually translating into real business? Well, let's look at the proof, because it's hiding in plain sight in their absolutely massive order book. This number is just staggering. As of early 2026, Prysmian had a secured order backlog of 17 billion euros. And that's just for their high-margin transmission business. This isn't a forecast or a guess. It's revenue from contracts that are already signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, to really put that into perspective for you, that 17 billion euros in guaranteed future work represents almost 2/3 of the company's entire value on the stock market. Just think about that for a second. That is an absolutely extraordinary level of visibility into the future. It gives them a clear, de-risked path for the next 4 or 5 years. So where's all this demand coming from? This table breaks it down perfectly. You look at that top row, European interconnectors, these giant cables connecting countries. That's an 8 billion euro a year market where Prysmian is the undisputed king. Then you go down to offshore wind, the US grid. It's the same story. They are a leader in every single one of these booming areas. And they've got the receipts to back it all up. They have this incredible track record of actually delivering on some of the most difficult infrastructure projects ever. We're talking the record-breaking Viking Link, the pioneering Vineyard Wind 1 project in the US, and the massive German corridors. They've proven time and time again they can get it done. So let's zoom back out. Why does the story of a 145-year-old Italian cable company matter so much to all of us right now? Well, because it's not really about cables. It's about the literal foundation of our future. You see, the demand for what they make is being supercharged by a perfect storm of 3 of the biggest trends on the planet. You've got the green energy transition, you've got the explosion in electricity demand from AI, and you've got this huge political push for energy security. Prysmian is sitting right at the intersection of all 3 of these incredibly powerful forces. And this really is the main takeaway. We all see the end products, right? The electric car, the amazing new AI model, the solar panel on a roof. But we forget that none of it, absolutely none of it, works without this invisible layer of fundamental infrastructure. Companies like Prysmian are the ones actually building the physical foundation for the 21st century. And all of this leaves us with one last kind of big thought to chew on. As our entire digital and green world becomes more and more dependent on these massive, complex networks of cables, you have to ask yourself, when the future literally runs on a cable, who do you want controlling the switch?